The Elements of Harmony and Save Your World by Arcade Striker JK5. Chapter 28. Mike paced around the concrete floor of his house garage. His truck and Megan's truck were both parked in the driveway, leaving the empty garage for himself and his tools. He picked up a clipboard off the bench and skimmed a list of minor chores he had written for himself the night before after returning from the gala and recovering the teleportation back home. A radio was turned on and tuned to K-Cult. It was playing some nice background music from a band called the Rocking Beats and the occasional news bite. A small white car pulled up in front of the house, catching his attention. It stopped and a young woman in a black suit stepped out. She had long blonde hair that was almost to her hips, violet eyes that seemed to take in everything, and a somewhat serious expression betrayed by a twinkle in her eyes. Her suit was a conservative knee-length skirt and a buttoned-up jacket. "Monsieur Reset?" she said, stopping at the foot of the driveway. "My name is Minerva Yamato. I am with the State Department." She reached in her jacket and pulled out an ID. Mike's arm had been bobbed up and down before he walked to the driveway to Minerva and extended a hand. "Oh, hello," he croaked out, reaching out and taking the ID from her. He looked it over before handing it back with a slightly trembling, somewhat grease-stained hand. He looked over his shoulder and up at the Rainbow Bridge, barely visible from the second. Sir, Megan's not home at the moment," he said, extending his hand once more to her. A smile graced Minerva's features as he grabbed Mike's hand and pumped it twice. "That's fine. This is for you as well as her." She spread her arms out. "First off, I would like to apologize to you and your family on behalf of President Abernathy for not getting in contact with you before now concerning the Rainbow Bridge. Chip Chase had quite a bit of information for us to digest. There is also a somewhat unique first contact scenario, as this is technically the first meeting between our two worlds. Not to mention them being right back in our backyard, figuratively and literally," she said, chuckling. A sinking laugh came from Mike. "Well, Megan just wanted to help her friends out when they were in trouble." Minerva nodded as she slammed out her hand out of Mike's grasp. "And that's rather cool." She held her hands up. "Monsieur Richards, I swear to you, none of your family is in trouble in any way. My bosses are quite keen to keep running smoothly as possible. As far as we can tell, no laws were broken." Mike got out of breath and his shoulders lowered. "Phew, thank you, Miss Yamato. I'm sorry. This is a bit overwhelming for me." Minerva nodded and clasped her hands together on her abdomen. "That's fine. And call me Minerva."
And no Mr. Richards for me."
Minerva smiled. "Well then, Mike, President Abernathy and the head of the National Security Council, Philip Provost, would like me to extend an invitation to the Diox in Equestria for the opening of diplomatic relations and even trade. There's also a few things to discuss with you and your family, but that can wait for everyone to be gathered together."
Mike rubbed his chin. "Well, Danny and Molly and I were planning on heading over to dinner for about 4 o'clock. It's near certainty Princess Celestia will be there at least. Luna will show up too. Can you come over, Lan?"
Minerva rubbed her chin, leaving a small grease there. "I can be there for that," she muttered. She smiled at Mike and nodded to him. "Thank you, Mike. I'll be back in a few hours." She nodded to him before turning and walking back to her car. Mike waved to her. "Minerva!" he called out. He waited for her to turn out before motioning to send there's a little smudge from him. He held up his hand, showing the grease still there. Minerva looked at the palm of her hand, then tossed Mike an informal salute. "As wipe up before heading back to Washington." And with that, she opened the door and stepped inside. The young agent pulled out a cell phone from her pocket, dialing a number. After a minute of extensions and answering services, she finally connected. "Monsieur Provost, this is Agent Yamato. I'll be having a meeting with the Diox later this afternoon. Yes, I'm cautiously optimistic about the meeting. I'll make the offer then. Thank you. I won't let you down." Megan paced in front of her daughters, hands clasped behind her back, while Celestia and Luna observed them. "Will you sex me all right?" she asked, stopping in front of Danielle and Michelle. Danielle held up a hand. "I'll say not to worry, it's pretty fruitless, but we'll be careful." She looked at the filly standing next to him. "Right?" Skulu, Sweetbell, Applebum, and Dinky all smiled, delight playing a physical trick as a halo seemed to form around their ears. Megan blinked and rubbed her eyes. "Right. She hugged Danielle, then Michelle before turning to the other four. No tree sand this time! Evelyn let loose a nervous chuckle. Well, I can't promise anything, Megan, but we'll sure as heck try. Scooter groaned and sat by her haunches. But we need to do something really cool to get our cutie marks. Megan stared at the Pegasus for a moment before looking back to her daughters. It's not too late to get Twilight back and have her teleport you back to the house. Even though she passed out after getting us here? Daniel deadpan. Megan waved her off. Spike and I will pump her full of coffee. We can. I don't know. Look up some old episodes of Mr. Rogers on the YouTube. She exclaimed, throwing her arms in the air. Celestia's ears pricked up at that. Mr. Rogers? She asked, a smile forming on her muzzle. That brings back memories. Megan looked at the dozen or so fillies and colts sitting in front of the television and VCR set up before them. Y'all been good? She asked, looking down at each one of them. Your chores are done? A chorus of affirmations rang down from the youngsters, their hoods waving in the air. Megan looked up at Wind Whistler, standing in the back. I can assert that, yes. The young ones did indeed accomplish all tasks set up before them in an expeditious and efficient manner. Megan blinked at her. So, they're done. Good. Wind Whistler flapped her wings and stomped on the ground. I believe that's what I said, yes. Okay, fine. Megan popped the VHS into the front of the VCR. All ready? Ready. Megan stared daggers at Danny, sitting between Celestia and Luna. Danny, what are you doing? Danny shrugged. My chores and homework are all done. He pointed to the pheasant. Now, come on! Megan rolled her eyes and shook her head. She pressed the play button, and the screen changed from one of static to a model town. The camera panned across tiny streets as an enchanting piano medley started up. The image changed to an interior house. The view sleeping across the focus of the door that opened up. It's a beautiful day in my neighborhood. It's a beautiful day to be my neighbor. Oh, won't you be mine? Oh, won't you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Hello, kids. I just really love Mr. Rogers. You brought over old tapes of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood for Celestia and Luna to watch? Lucille asked. Luna looked over to her sister. Do you still have any of them? Celestia tilted her head from side to side. I think so. Yes, she said, expressive frightening. After the visit to the castle, I could get the television and VCR, and we can rewatch them. Skillu's brow furrowed. What's a television? Michelle dropped to one knee beside the Pegasus and pulled out her phone. It's a big box that gets signals, like your radio, but it also shows picture. It's like a movie screen for your house. Skillu stuck out her tongue in a gag of mustard. Ugh! I hope they show more than educational junk and newsreel. That's almost all Las Pegasus puts out! Diggy turned her head Skillu's direction. But you're doing new stuff all the time. I heard some ponies actually trying to adapt the daring news novels for some sort of series. She scratched her head right behind her horn. I don't know how they do that, though. Danielle glanced to her sister, dead friends, then looked at Megan. I think we'll be all set, Mom. She looked Megan over, noting the Colt peacemakers tucked into the hip holsters. The Marlin 1894 rifle slung over her shoulder, the bandoliers of ammo, a backpack full of emergency supplies. I think you'll be all set if any of our old enemies show up, or that dragon decides to cause trouble again. Megan looked at herself, shrugging. Never hurts to be prepared. She hugged Danielle, then walked over and hugged Michelle. You two be careful, and remember, Dad, Aunt Molly, and Uncle Danny will be over for dinner tonight. Be at Twilight's library by 4. Danielle and Michelle returned their hugs. We'll be all right, Mom, Danielle said, waving to Megan as she walked over to the Everfree Forest. Luna and Celestia flanking her. She looked over to her sister and the filly standing beside her. So, where to? The tree house? Evelyn shook her head as the Crusaders began walking back to Ponyville proper. Me, I don't want to go to Sweet Apple Acres, at least not yet. Applejack's gone plumb loco with those contracts he got from the cow last night, and... She paused, shaking her head. Big Macintosh was at breakfast with Fluttershy of all ponies. Her ears waggled around. They were all giggly and stuff. Danielle blinked as she passed by Sugar Cube Corner. She waved at Miss Smiley of Pinkie Pie as he swept her lips. They were together? She slapped her forehead and dragged her face down, grunting. Oh! Michelle shrugged. Well, they were all lovely dovely outside the gala. They disappeared last night and didn't appear till after we left, she scratched her head. So, what was Fluttershy doing asleep? So, Tiggy! Danielle shouted, clapping her hands together. Did you get permission to go to the sleepover in 2 weeks? Diggy's head bobbed up and down. Oh yeah, Mommy and Daddy really want to meet you two. Daddy especially. Danielle stopped in her tracks, but Michelle, looking to her right as Sweetbelle plowed right into her, sending the two sisters stumbling and tumbling to the ground. Sweetbelle's left foreleg clipped Michelle's right arm, sending her into the dirt. Scootaloo, Absolute, and Dinky each followed suit, Dinky sliding into the dirt and leaving a small furrow. Danielle groaned, sliding her hands on her body and pushing herself to one knee. The sound of laughter and snickering caught her attention, and she looked to her right, spotting a pair of Earth Pony fillies pointing at her and the other Crusaders. Problem? The fillies laughed. The fillies, Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon, focused on the Crusaders. Oh, sorry, Diamond Tiara said, biting her lip in a faint attempt to stop laughing. It's just, I'm wondering, what are the daughters of the Magne doing with these three losers? Silver Spoon pointed to Dinky. Sorry, but they're 4 losers now. Dinky swallowed and eyes widened. I'm not a loser, she cried out. Silver Spoon's story. Yes, you are. She looked at Danielle and Michelle. Like, seriously, why are you hanging out with these 4 blanks when... Shut up, Danielle said through gritted teeth. She marched right up to the pair and jabbed the finger down at him. First off, Dinky is not a loser. She's a good friend of mine. Second, I will not have my friends bullied by you two. I don't know who the hell you two are. Quite frankly, I don't care. You're being complete jerks, and I'd like you to leave. She pointed a finger down the street. Now! Diamond Tiara's face flushed red. Why, how dare you? I'm Diamond Tiara, and my father is the richest pony in Ponyville. She thrust her chin in the air. Nay, she's like one of the richest ponies in Caroline Province itself. And my daddy owns one of the silver mines in all of Equestria. Silver Spoon's added. Michelle stepped over to Danielle. Are they really trying late? Danielle shook her head and planted her hands on her hips. Okay, so, Michelle. She leaned forward. For the record, our mother, she kind of sort of held failed Equestria. She rolled her eyes. Like you said, the Magne's daughters. Apple Bloom rose to her hooves and tried over to Danielle's side. They always feed head mouths that can't faster than their brains, Danielle. Diamond Tiara gasped. Why, how dare you, you blank-flaked hayseed? Michelle wrinkled her nose. How dare you, you bully? Leave our friends alone and bust off. Danielle blinked. Wait, blank-flake? She leaned to the side, glancing at Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon's flanks and their own cutie marks. Your cutie marks are a tiara and a silver spoon? She clapped her hand over her mouth to smell the southern iris. Oh, wow. And you're making fun of their lack of cutie marks? What those mean? What are your special talents, precisely? By now, a small tower gathered around the 8. A pair of unicorns and earth ponies stood around outside Dr. Who's shop, sadly observing the altercation. Diamond Tiara shuffled around to present her cutie mark to Danielle Michelle. This tiara represents my skill and leadership in destiny to inherit Daddy's company. Ain't that right, Dazzle? Yeah. She waved the four-legged silver spoon. And hers represents her family silver mines, individual taking over ownership of the mines. Danielle shrugged and shook her head. Oh, yeah, I'm not really saying that. Silver Spoon rolled her eyes. Like, what's your problem? Scootaloo's wings buzzed, lifting her a half-foot in the air. What's your problem? We weren't doing anything to you. We've never done anything to you, but you two just love bullying us. She dropped back to the ground. Don't you have anything better to do? Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon glanced at each other before focusing on Scootaloo. Not really, chicken, Diamond Tiara said, burying her teeth in a very malicious grin. A little growl rolled out Danielle's throat. She clenched her hands into tight face. Good Lord, you are stupid. She advanced on the two, who at least had the good sense to back up a few steps. Let me again state who our mother is, all right? Megan, you know, the Magne. Why, you're continuing to harass and bully us. It's leaving me quite confused, actually. Silver Spoon waved her off. We're not, bullying you or Michelle. You're cool. It's just why are you, hanging out with those four losers?
Michelle walked over and stood beside her sister.
They're our friends. They're cool, too. We have a lot of fun together. That's why we hang around them.
Danielle patted her younger sister on the shoulder, squeezing it tightly.
My sister's right. You too. Scaloo, Apple Bloom, Sweet Belle, and Dinky are awesome to hang out with.
The four fillies, now flanking Michelle, Danielle, beat to the two.
You're awesome to hang out too, Sweet Belle said, standing at Michelle's side. Michelle reached out, patted Sweet Belle on the mane. Thanks. WTR clenched her teeth together. Fine, she said. You don't want to hang with the coolest fillies in Ponyville? Me, all of Carolina's finest. Fine.
Danielle snorted.
I'm all right. I am hanging out with the coolest. She dropped to one knee and held out her arms to the filly standing by her. I am a cutie marker sayer, and I will help my friends find their cutie marks.
She thrusted the yarn in the air, grinning. Dame Tiara thrust her muzzle into the air, turned and began trying off.
Oh, come on, Silver Spoon. Obviously, Danielle and Michelle are not nearly as cool as awesome as we thought,
she said, her voice raising on the last few words.
Silver Spoon huffed and followed suit. Maybe, we should tell our daddies about them?
Danielle snorted.
Oh, yeah? She went to Michelle. Maybe we should tell our adopted sisters how brave they are.
Michelle's eyes narrowed as Tiara and Silver Spoon stopped in their gate.
What sisters I am?
Danielle marched around to Dame Tiara and knelt down.
Oh, Princess Celestia and Luna. You know, the diehards of Equestria. See you and close to the filly. Mom hates bullies. Dad hates bullies. Marcel and I'll hate bullies, and I bet my entire book collection that the two alicorns see raised hate bullies too.
A fine sea of sweat covered Diamond Tiara and Silver Spoon's foreheads, matting down their manes to their poles.
You wouldn't?
Danielle nodded. Diamond Tiara's muzzle scrunched up.
What do you want? My allowance?
The young woman's jaw was drawn. She slapped her forehead.
Good Lord, you really don't get it. I want you two to stop bullying.
No more.
Leave my friends alone.
You hear me?
She tapped a finger at Diamond Tiara.
Leave them alone. And the rest, leave your classmates alone, too. Get it?
The parrot's hair dropped up and down. Got it.
Neil spoke back up. Good. She paused for a moment but sighed, walked back to her friends. So, what's up for today's crusade? The doctor let out a chuckle. He had exited his shop at the commotion and walked beside the two unicorns and Earth Point that left his shop earlier. Well, good to see that Dickie's a good hunt, so to say. He looked to the trio. Wouldn't you agree, agents? The trio turned to him. I don't know what you're talking about. The doctor snored. Right. He waved him off and re-entered his shop. But hurry along! Your tossers are wandering off, and I don't think Celestia will be too pleased if they get hot. Megan stepped over a tree root, eyes darting all around. She clutched her rifle in a two-handed grip. Safety disengaged, but the finger off the trigger. She jumped at every strange sound and cried to echo through the forest.
You live here?
She said, looking down at the fourth member of the little group.
Damn, that tastes guts!
So Sakura took her head, chuckling. The zebra wore a brown cloak with a hood, and it had a stick perfectly balanced on her left foreleg shoulder. The Ethelfie's mysteries are quite vast, but many of its dangers I've made past. Megan chuckled slyly. Yeah, otherwise you wouldn't play your guiding us. Thanks for all this, by the way. She went back to Celestia and Luna trailed behind. You two alright? Celestia nodded, letting out a breath. The chaotic magic in the Everfree is playing havoc with my powers. But other than that, I'm doing alright. She looked to her sister. Luna? Luna's cheeks colored. Are you doing alright, sister? She looked around at the dense foliage that seemed to close in all around them. All my fault, she muttered. Celestia extended a wing and draped it over Luna's withers and back. We can rebuild this. Together. Megan looked at Sakura. I hope your pet wasn't famous by that dragon's antics or Spycoron's judgment. Sakura shook her head. The dragons did sink and roar, but I've been through worse before. My heart still stands, oh, the walls are firm, though the insides did sink and squirm. Megan's eyes furrowed. Okay. About the way I talk, you have a question, but you bulk.
Megan's head drooped. Sorry, sorry. It's just that the only other Seaver I met during my original time here didn't speak in rhyme. Zecora nodded. In the Western Savannah, I was trained in mystical arts. The rhyming helps to remember the difficult parts. Celestia spoke up. Most zebras I've met don't rhyme, she said, her horn glowing as she telekinetically moved some of the branches out of the way. The group entered their small clearing. A river blocked their path, along with a purple-scaled sea serpent lounging on some rocks. Oh, hello! Stephen Magnet exclaimed, stretching out up and up. He was finding Luna and Celestia bowed. Your Majesties, what an honor! A hand snaked under the rock and pulled out a bush. Oh, and my hair is such a mess! Once again, fanfic, thank you for giving me a chance to voice Stephen Magnet one more time! Sakura snorted out and shook her head, her hoop earrings dangling about. Stephen, your mind is fine. Could you please do me a favor for some friends of mine? Stephen nodded. He swam about and extended his body from shore to shore, acting as a living bridge. But of course! Liz' right eyebrow arched. She looked over to Celestia. Can't we just fly them over? Celestia waved her off. Oh, where's the fun in that? Megan looked over his shoulder, all the way halfway down Stephen's back. Her rifle was back over her shoulder and safety on once again. Leia, come on! She sighed, waving the alicorns on. She finally reached the back of his neck and hopped onto the shore. She bowed before him. Thanks, Stephen. I am sorry for almost killing you back there when we first met, she said, scratching her back of her head. I thought you were trying to kill Applejack. Stephen waited for Sakura, Celestia, and Luna, fins crossing before standing back up. Oh, not a problem at all, my dear. I know things didn't look so good from your perspective. Megan smiled and waved to him. Celestia lowered her head to Sakura's level. Sakura, I thank you very much for your assistance in getting us this far. However, the journey to the ancient castle is somewhat a private one for us, and Luna and I should have no difficulties getting Megan there. Sakura nodded to the alicorn. If that is all, then I should take my leave, but getting there shall be no breeze. Luna's ears twitched. Somewhat a stretch for a ride, but I shall let it pass, she said, winking. And I'd let you as well. Sakura paused at the door. I ask that you three take care, and to be, please be aware. The dangers in the other three are hidden, and can strike at the unwary unbidden. Megan pulled out a rifle and held it up. We'll be careful, Sakura. Thanks for the help. Sakura nodded as the three moved off. They should be good across this yard. I don't think Megan will let down her guard. It was an uneventful trek across the rest of the way to what's once String Castle, home of the ancient royal family, and the place of the last stand of Queen Majesty against T-Rex. Megan let out a whistle at the ancient edifice. A spire or two had crumbled, and the walls were showing wear and tear, but the majority of the fortress was still intact. Celestia looked to Megan. Megan, what are you looking for here exactly? Megan opened her mouth, but her head dropped as he looked at his hands on the tree stump. I don't know, she admitted. Her gaze swept over the castle as he stepped forward. I'm not sure what I'm doing here at the castle, or even in Equestria itself. It's not like you need me. Luna stopped forward, her armored legs making deep imprints in the ground. Megan Richards! Never talk like that again! She said, swinging around to face her, dropped her neck to the center of her muscles was inches from Aiken's face. Even in the highly unlikely event that there was nothing you could do to contribute to pony society, which is horsehoppers, you being around is more than enough. For all intents and purposes, you and Danny and Molly are our parents. She stepped forward to Megan's right and leaned in closer to her. And we love you. Megan bit her lip. She wiped her eyes, but tears streaked down. She wrapped one arm around Luna's neck and the other around Celestia's. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, she whispered. I don't know anymore. What do I do? Do I do nothing? Something? Anything? Celestia's maid wrapped around Megan's head and arm. The gala last night shows that you can't sit by and do nothing, Megan. It's not who you are. And the nation is quite grateful for that. Megan's entire body shuddered as he laughed. Damn it. Stop trying to fuse tents, she muttered. Celestia chuckled. Sorry, old habits. She slid out of Megan's embrace and looked the woman in the eye. Megan, no matter what you do, or what you don't do, or how you feel, know this. You are loved here. even if we don't necessarily need you here. We want you here, all right? Megan nodded. All right. Her mouth turned slightly. I guess you may be a silly pony, but I guess even now I'm just a silly girl. The magnate. Give her her gifts, defend her on the stable, and burn her tuna noodle casserole. Luna leaned over her shoulder. A presenter of Mr. Ross's neighborhood. Can't forget that title to add to the overly long list. She leaned back and eyes focused on one tower in the back. While we're here, would you like to see what Twilight Sparkle and her friends saved my soul? Megan followed Luna's gaze. Map and Nass. I can ask you some places while you're going there, too. The walk to the tower in the back, where the final battle of Nightmare War was fought, was uneventful, save for the constant back and forth of questions and answers. Why, left? Megan asked, as he walked up a flight of stairs to the highest room in the tower. Celestia nodded. Under Wind Whistler's guidance, Luna and I cleared the Smooths from their lands, but the Grundles decided to set out for a new land, far beyond where our borders are now. She shook her head. For all I know, they followed the Moochik to wherever he and Scorpan led the humans. Megan shook her head. Well, good for you two, but what about the Bush Willies? Are you them not serving the Princess's Pony's honor guard? Oh, yes, Celestia replied. Just turn over a rock, you'll probably find at least a dozen or so. Megan barked and laughed. She turned back as she passed through a door into a large room, taking up the entire floor. She looked around. Wow. Luna and Celestia stopped by her sides, flanking her. This is where I was saved, Luna whispered. Megan took a step forward, but Luna's wings shot forth, blocking her progress. Luna? There are sections of the floor that have weakened, she said, pointing to several passages where the stones had begun to sunk, the mortar no longer holding them fully in place. Megan nodded. Thanks, Luna, she said, patting her on the side of the head. She took one large step forward, looking around. So, Twilight and the others basically mastered the Rainbow of Light here? Celestia nodded, smiling. She did wonderfully. I've never been prouder. Megan knelt down and picked up a handful of gravel, letting it dribble through her fingers. I wish we could rebuild this. It was so beautiful back then. She looked to herself over and barked a laugh. Not that I could say the same for myself. Celestia held a hoof over Luna's mouth. We've been slowly reclaiming the Everfree. An egg in here, a chorus of trees there. It's been slow and quite difficult. Megan stood back up. Another war of Dylan is. She looked back to the Alcorn split outside. Thanks. She suddenly spun around, raising her rifle and aiming down the sights. What was that? Celestia's ears perked. What was what? Megan brought her rifle back up and groaned. Sorry. I'll just... She shivered. Felt something. She went to the room. I'm getting paranoid, that's all. Luna niggered. I believe being paranoid is a question, and especially the Everfree Force can only lift anything to a lifespan, Megan. She stepped back and away from the door, allowing Megan clear access to it. Are you ready? Megan nodded. I am. Thanks for indulging me on this trip. She waved a hand in the air. I guess I need to see Dream Castle. Maybe we'll say goodbye to it. Celestia's eyes wired as the trio walked out the room. Maybe so long for now? Megan cocked her head to the side. Works for me. The shadows bled. Steamy, slimy ichor bubbled up from the darkest corners of the room. It slid across the floor, leaving bubbly stone in its wake. A rat tried to scurry past it, only to be engulfed and, with a final squeak, dissolved. The slime converged on the center of the room, piling on top in a putrid, quavering mass. Gradually, a general shape began to form. A body bubbled up while four stick-like legs propped it up. At the front, the body of a humanoid grew. Two masses dropped down from the sides, turning red and forming arms, while the horned head emerged from the top. Details of clothing and hair formed as a red face jutted out of its eyes. Cruel and pitiless.
Megan.
Tirek, the abomination, croaked out. He looked at his hands and flicked his fingers.
I remember you, child. Oh, yes. You stopped my eternal night. I heard your name before you killed me so long ago.
Tirek trotted over to a wall, placed his foot on it and pushed. For a moment, the hand held it safe, but quickly lost cohesion. collapsing into the wrist. T-Rex's lips curled back.
Still not whole. Even with the power I stole from Luna, I still need flesh.
The steer turned to a smirk.
Yes, yes. You owe me a new body, Megan. I shall take yours and be whole once again. And then I shall conquer this planet and wipe out all that you hold dear.
He raised his hands to the air, tips of his horns cracking.
Come forth, Ursa Minor.
Deep in the cave, near the border of the Everfree, Ursa Minor, still in his arms, stirred. She slowly woke up, extricating itself from her grasp and lumbering to the entrance of the cave. T-Rex held a hand up.
No, no, not yet. The alicorns are still around.
He waved a hand, and a pair of vortices appeared over one of the windows, quickly widening. One showed the image of Megan, Celestia, and Luna, while the other showed the Star Bear.
Wait for them to leave, then strike. Bring Megan back unharmed.
He cocked his head to the side.
And on the off chance the unicorn will put you to sleep is still around, stuff your ears full of gravel.
T-Rex nodded in satisfaction as the Ursa clawed near the rock's cave wall, gasping out great scenes of rock.
Soon I shall be whole again. See who cured me, so let me live once more. And night eternal shall fall, never to rise again.